Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'd like to formally thank Sadie for having me part of her big 30th birthday shindig. It's quite an honor. And I've been meaning to mention all evening long, kind of have some feathers stuck in your collar. You might want to take a look in the mirror and fix that. Oh, you can't look in the mirror, it's the vampire thing. But thank you, Sadie. I really do appreciate being here. And this is kind of a vampire story. It's a different kind of vampire story. But you know, when the teeth go in at first, it feels awful nice. So yeah, this is about a bad relationship that started off really, really good. And sending this one out to Wendy, wherever she is. Not a psychic vampire, more like a bullet I don't want to dodge. If you'd be so kind. It's called Will the Night. It was my first date with a girl named Ripley on a chilly mid-October Monday evening. After we hugged hello on the street corner, I leaned in conspiratorially to point out a panhandler who had been annoying me. Ripley thought I was angling for a kiss, and she moved her head accordingly to catch it, seeming a little flustered when the expected kiss didn't happen. But there was a charge in the air between us all the same, and she hooked her arm around mine as we went into the restaurant. She was my height, thin, 5 years older, with longish hair dyed black and bright red, gaunt cheekbones and lined eyes. She said people often told her she resembled Susan Sarandon because of her eyes. I had a crush on Susan Sarandon as a teenager, so that was perfect. Over dinner, we brought each other up to speed on who we were, holding hands across the table. Ripley had the advantage, having been to 2 of my readings and seen me as a pony at the Castro Street Fair, while I didn't even know she existed until the week before. The extent of our real-world interaction had been at the Queer Open Mic on Friday, where we spoke for about a minute and a half under my primary girlfriend Vash's disapproving gaze. Vash and I had an open relationship, and she'd been seeing someone else seriously for over a year, often neglecting me in favor of her other lover. But she didn't trust Ripley and asked me not to date her. I did anyway. I trust my intuition, and I'd like to think I read vibes well. Ripley's were friendly and inviting. Which isn't to say I haven't made mistakes or misjudged compatibility, but it generally feels like the right thing to do at the time, and that's all I can do. Be true to myself in the moment. My truth in this particular moment was saying, yes, go there. And it is so very, very rare that a girl who encapsulates so many of my physical attractions makes the first move. The euphemism is meeting perdita. It was coined when a girl named Haley and I were on our first of 2 dates. We were sitting at the bar at Diva's, me on my second White Russian and Haley on her third of whatever she was drinking, and we were talking about cats. I told her about my cat Perdita, and Haley said rather wistfully, I want to meet her. I want to meet Perdita. So we returned that night to my apartment so Haley could meet Perdita. And so Haley and I could have fantastic sex. So Ripley and I returned to my apartment so Ripley could meet Perdita. And Perdita was happy to meet Ripley, yowling with that extra crack she gets in her voice when there's someone new, another hand or two to pet her. She gets her affection-starved nature from my side of the family. I turned on my black lights. They're pretty much considered the height of dorkiness these days. But I like how people look in black light, what it reveals in the skin and the eyes, how it turns them into aliens just like me. If I had to analyze it beyond that, I'd trace it back to my first kiss, when I took my first girlfriend Kim into my brother's blacklight closet just to show it to her. In her own words, Kim was overwhelmed, and the next thing I knew, her hand was on the back of my head, and she was kissing me. Not a chaste peck, but the real thing with full tongue and all. Ever since then, I've liked black lights. I'm a Pavlov case study. In addition to the glow it gave my dreads, which are constructed partly from blacklight-sensitive material, Ripley was intrigued by how it brought out the otherwise subtle freckles on my shoulder, and especially my face. Sitting on the couch, we finally kissed. Couch to floor to bed, a well-tested pattern. We clicked something fierce, both of our tendencies towards fierceness finding a kindred soul and a kindred flesh in the other. her sharp bits and my soft parts and vice versa. The way her appearance chameleoned when she just tied her hair back, sometimes looking like the rank stranger she had been a week before, and sometimes eerily familiar. The raised skin, the scratching and biting and trailing along what little uninked flesh remained on her back and all over her front, leaving many nebula and galactic clusters, flecks of skin and blood under our nails, her deep, sharp gasps when touched or bitten or twisted just so, the sheer amount of sweat we generated and shared and mixed, her intoxicating scent, and around midnight, brief sleep, her cuddling my leg, murmuring with little tremors passing through her body as she dozed off, a mid-coital pieta. I napped as well, and we both jolted awake a little after 1 in the morning. Her staying the night wasn't an practical option on several levels, and for the next few hours we were conscious of the fact that we both had to work the next day and that she needed to go home, but we kept at each other all the same, energy levels dipping and then spiking, the green and purple fog beginning to glow, the tenacity that comes with the thrill of discovery, and most of all, impermanence. That this is it, right now, this moment, and every moment comes to an end. And now, the longing begins. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you so much. I just want to give a plug to Sherilyn. She curates Bad Movie Night at the Dark Room.
Yes.
And
every
that
Sunday.
Yeah. So, and that's every Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. So go to the Dark Room for Bad Movie Night.
Yes.
Sherilyn, that was awesome.
Thank you very much.
so much.
I get to bite her now.
You get to bite her now.
Yay.
Did you bring any ketchup?
Cecilia.
I make my own.
Ladies' choice.
Ladies.
Where did you want it? Ooh, right there.
Oh!
See you next year.
All right. That was awesome. Thank you.